Welcome back to Kit Car Direct and MK Sportscars, back in the workshop. It's February. Where's January gone? Well, I'm kind of glad it's gone, because who likes January? I like February. Starts rolling into spring, lighter evenings, which means you get to enjoy these types of cars. Well, we've got two exoskeleton cars, newish, that have rolled into the workshop here. This one you'll be familiar with. We're going to start off with the MEV Rocket. So this is in, a few little jobs to be done on it. It's got some handling issues. We're working through that at the moment, trying to find out. It's mainly been geometry set up on this particular vehicle, because caster was out, camber was out, at tow in and tow out. We had all kinds of weird things going on with the geo and the car, so I could understand that. It's in for a service. It's got an oil change, coolant change, and a bit of a flush onto that. It's in for some other things, which is in the back of the car here, actually. We had some issues with it idling high. This was an inlet manifold air leak, which we've found down in here, because it was idling like about 1800, 2000 RPM, way too high, which I don't think was helping, because it had a cold start issue, which has helped resolve that. Second thing was, we've been on with, is header tank. This thing, which is a nice tank, nothing wrong with this tank, but it was cable tied here, like that, just cable tied on and running down, which is, I'm not comfortable with a header tank sitting behind a passenger or driver's head if it was to have a leak or something. Coolant would be going all over you. Plus, cable tying it on, not particularly great. So what we've done, we've fitted down a valve one, we put out a horizontal one instead of the vertical one. That's sitting in here. Mounted it to the bulkhead here, nice and neat. Still above the highest level here for the return. For the highest point of the engine, so that's good, nice and easy. The boot cover goes on, you can check the levels and everything else, so that's a nice little job, neat and tidy, looks good in there as well, and it's sturdy rather than, well, cable ties. I mean, yeah, that's a bit ambitious. So yeah, different kind of car. We've got that to do, we've got steering, but there's a couple of things in here which we may not be able to resolve, which was the gentleman who owns this vehicle is quite short. He's made some very funky pedal extensions here. Look, it works probably for him, but this is all loose, so we've got to adjust that and maybe move some of this. We're going to have a look at maybe moving the pedal box. That looks like quite a bit of work involved though to do that, but we will look into that as well. But and you could say, well, let's move the seat forward. Well, you can, but the steering wheel is quite compact in here in the area. The seat's as far as it will go forward at the moment, and you'd be sitting with the steering wheel here. But also, you might have to look at this, because this is not ideal. I drove it up the road, and this just feels very unnervy in your hand, with the wheel just very loose and wobbly. So some of these aftermarket bosses, which is this one, they're just not very good. They don't fill you with confidence when you put them on the vehicle. It just, so much play and travel in them makes the vehicle, again, can make the vehicle feel unnervy, especially if you've got play in the boss. You're doing that before you even turn the steering. So, but it's in, we're doing it. This particular vehicle, if you was on yesterday, Friday I think it was. Friday we had a little competition. What's the car? This was it. This was it. Iron Man's car, as we nicknamed it in the workshop there. Looks like Iron Man's car, doesn't it? That red and gold sort of thing, yeah. But something different that we have in, we don't see every time. We're always on the 7. So, next thing. Well, familiar car, Hayabusa even, Supercharged. This was in a few months back. Customers driven it a couple of times. Just got a couple of little tweaks to do. There was a wire failure on the downshift on this. So we've gone and addressed that. There was just a connection that had broken on that. That's why you couldn't have the downshift, which is fine. They all work. They're fantastic, these paddle shifts, but you only have to have a little connection, break off or a solder or a joint, and then suddenly you haven't got up or down shifts, whereas mechanical, you don't tend to do that. So it's in for that, and just a neutral light. So, and this will get sent back out. But this made something like 280 horsepower at the wheels with that supercharged booster engine stuck in the back here. And it's not particularly heavy. Got the TTS plenum, it's a Rotex supercharger kit. I think it's a TTS one that's been modified for it all. Went to RLM on the dyno, made really good numbers, so I'm sure it's an absolute rocket ship. Okay guys, it's RX5 K20 time. As you know, it's come out the bay now. It's wandered into this area. What are we doing? Emissions. That's what we're on with now. So Joseph's in the car, got the laptop plugged in now, into the ECU. That's a Motorsport Electronics one that you use, the 360 on this particular car. And what we've got set back now is setting the parameters. Basically, tuning the car. Now, we have a emissions control machine here, which is easier for us to do then. So you can see where we're at on CO2s, we can see where we're at on idles and everything else on Lambert and everything else. So what we need to aim for here is CO needs to be below 0.2. At the moment it's not. Then we need to have hydrocarbons below 200. At the moment it's 193, so it's below it. And then Lambert here needs to be 1.030 or below that and between 0.997. So 0.997 and 1030. So that's where we need to be with the results. Well, let's give her a little tickle up at 2800 RPM. That's where we're going to measure it at today. Josie's going to pick that up. What we've got to do is make sure the catalytic converter gets ignited, which is down here. We've got some cooling fans to help it just while we're stationary. Once the cat ignites, we'll see the Lamberts and everything else start to come in. So we're at 2800 RPM now. You'll see things start to drop. So it's going to take us a few seconds for that to warm up. At the moment this is in. 0.20 is where we need to be. It's coming down 0.16. Hydrocarbons, we are at plenty. Well in, that needs to be 200 or below. So at 38, 36 and coming down even better. Now Lambert's just starting to creep down now. So once the cat starts to get warm, so we're at 1030 is what we're aiming for. And we're currently at 1039, so we're just going to let that warm up a touch more. We've got the catalytic converter warmed up, making sure the engine is up to temperature. It needs to be at least 85 degrees. I'd get the oil at least between 40 and 60 degrees if you've got gauges. Nice and warm under here. So now we're going to move across. Here we go, CO, no problem, 0.20, well in there. Hydrocarbons, 200 or below, well in. Lambert, 1030, so we're at 1020, so we're plenty in on that. It can't be below 0.997 anyway, so this is perfect. So pass, pass and pass. All in the green, no problems at all there. So, and in fact the Lambert, now it's warming up, it's dropping even more. So that's fantastic news. So yeah, K20 tuned and ready and rocking rolling for IVA. The one little test now that we've done, that we're setting the parameters on the fast idle, is a natural idle. So now you drop it down to running, well, most you can run is 1200 RPM. What are we running at, Joseph? About 900 RPM, 950 RPM, and then again, you're just checking CO then basically, is below 0.2, and this is well under. Very clean engine, 0.03, very clean under, hydrocarbons are under. You don't worry about Lambert. Lambert doesn't matter when it's on natural idle, that doesn't come into play, it's only on fast idle. Yeah, so green, green, green. So now we're tick box on fast idle and tick box on natural idle. So what a great engine. That K20 engine, how good's that to tune, Joseph? Easy. From the master, he says it's easy, I'm a happy boy. Right guys, it's chassis register time. Well, if you're already in the queue, you're up there. That's for the top 10 that we've got going on. But if you want to know more about the range, hook us up, a phone call, email, or come down here in the factory and take a look, and we can go out in the demo car. Failing that, we will be at the 2 kit car shows this year in June, that's Melbourne, and July at Newark. And Newark, we're doing something a little bit whizzy actually, a little outside feature, but there'll be more on that in the coming weeks. While the guys are working out on the cars on there, I've landed on the doorstep is the Complete Kit Car magazine. I'm going to catch up on the latest industry news. Great read, XCS at Cobras, or XCS are on there this week. So Harvey, good guy down there, another Essex builder. That's it for this week guys. Like, share, subscribe, and we will catch you next week.